around 65, 66. And it wasn't the first year. And I was coming down Linden Street and I heard this group talk, behind me. There was a group coming and I looked around and here it was I think there were about 25, maybe 30 people there. And they had the sign, Nazareth to Bethlehem Peace Walk. And I thought, this is fantastic. Right here in River City. I did not know about this at all. And I was just delighted to see it, that there was not just a few people, not just a few, but a group, a significant group of people able to pull this thing together. And so I just joined in.
I became involved with a peace group that was already in place in a small way in the Lehigh Valley, and I think it was called the Lehigh Valley Peace Council. Okay. I'm not positive about that, but I ran into the group one year when I was at the Allentown Fair. It might have been 1963, something like that, and signed my name, up to be contacted. And there were minor things that we got involved in at that time. LEPOCO really formed, I think the base were people that were involved with that Lehigh Valley Peace Council. But it formed in response to the war in Vietnam and the feeling among people who were opposed to what was going on that we needed to have something a little more intense, a little stronger, a little more outspoken to deal with that situation.
It was exciting in the beginning. Those of us, first of all, to find other people who were interested, and to come up with this Lehigh Pocono Committee of Concern, which morphed into the LEPOCO Peace Center. There was those of us who were involved really were ready to pour energy into it.
And so we came together and met, over time, eventually ending up, I guess, at Kirkridge, where LEPOCO was actually formed. And, the name is the full name really was the Lehigh Pocono Committee of Concern about Vietnam. And that was the original name, and I don't recall who, but somebody said, why don't we, just use letters, and how about LEPOCO? And Peter Cohen, who lived in Snydersville at that time, he kind of, agreed to do many different things. I do remember that John Oliver Nelson, who was the director at Kirkridge, and his wife Jane, both of whom are deceased. But as my recollection says, that they called us all together.
He had a list of an old peace organization that had just dried up, but he brought those people together, and that's the first time I met the Ravitses. That was right before Christmas of 1965, and there was a meeting, I don't know, between 20 and 30 people, and everybody was very concerned about the war in Vietnam and what we could possibly do about it. And so we founded the Lehigh Pocono Committee of Concern.
I was there and I found my name on a group letter that we wrote. 5 of us wrote it, but the whole group endorsed the idea and the points we wanted to make in the letter. So we all got to sign it, and it was to the, I think 4 newspapers printed it.
And I know early on we decided that it would be really good to have a newsletter. I had a mimeograph machine at my house. Yeah, we had a room that we had the mimeograph machine in, and we used to call it our revolution room. We didn't have all the technology that we have, and it was a really messy old machine that I don't recall where we got it. But we had it up in a room that we didn't really use for much else, and we called it the Revolution Room because we said all you really needed back then was a mimeograph machine, and you could get a revolution going. The other thing that Women's International League did do was vigil every Saturday.
At the circle down
in the
there.
circle. And we decided that we would be there every day, every Saturday, for an hour until the war ended. and we were true to our word.
I think it was in December of 1969 that I actually submitted my resignation to the draft board. And over the next year or two, I was called up for induction in Wilkes-Barre, and that was cause for another demonstration, another public stance.
The other thing which I think needs to be attended to is that when LEPOCO did get organized, before it was sort of congealed, hiring of Anna Hunt had a big influence and direction and so on.
I remember going on delegations to Washington. Anna Hunt was involved at that time as the coordinator, and you would do demonstrations. As the Vietnam War tailed away, the work became a little bit less incisive, I think, generally. It became more military budget. It wasn't so, the immediacy of the Vietnam War wasn't hitting us in the face every day.
I remember in 1972 being very involved in a series of demonstrations and activities in Harrisburg around the Harrisburg 7 trials. These were the Berrigan brothers and others that were put on trial, charged with some kind of pretty foolish charges regarding Henry Kissinger and the war and heating tunnels in Washington, D.C. In any case, that was close by in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, so there was a lot of effort from here to get people to participate. They had a whole series of teach-ins, and there was a big march and actions around Good Friday of that year. But of course, the big transition came in 1974 when Anna resigned from working for LEPOCO, and then I became the staff person.
So that was in 1974?
1974.
Keep on walking forward. Keep on walking forward. Keep on walking forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna keep on loving boldly. Keep on loving. Keep on loving boldly. Keep on loving. Keep on loving boldly. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna work for change together. Work for change. Work for change together. Work for change. Work for change together. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna keep on singing loudly. Keep on singing loudly. Keep on singing. Keep on singing loudly. Keep on singing. Never turning back. Never turning back. We're gonna light this night together. Light this night together. Light this night together. Never turning back. Never turning back. In a many-colored garden, we are growing side by side. We will
really just kept thinking about LEPOCO as being part of this larger network of little, small, really organic peace groups that are hanging on from when they were established in the Vietnam era, that are still around. It is really a vibrant part of that network of organizations. And also I like it as opposed to like move on and sort of political action groups that are out there right now. I really am glad that places like LEPOCO exist to add a little bit more humanness to the issues. It's not a political action group, it's a community action group, and I like that. I mean, it's about political issues, but I really like that it's just small, it's local, it has a local impact, and I just really like that it's like a neighborhood peace center. I love it that there is a neighborhood peace center in Bethlehem.